Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to sit down and do your cozy hobbies with me while I dive into scary stories or legends from all across the world. So, without further ado, go ahead, grab your hobbies that you have in mind about what you want to do right now, and get comfortable while we dive deep into a specific German legend today. The German legend that I would love to speak about today is called the Aufhocker. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but nonetheless, this is a German legend that we will be speaking about today. So, to start off with, Germany is a European country. It sits right in the center of Europe almost, but countries that surround Germany are those that include France, Italy, Czech, and Poland. Now, there may be other countries that surround Germany, but the countries that are big and most noticeable are the ones that I have listed. So, Germany is home to the legendary Aufhocker. The name is a derivative from the German word aufhauken, and this German word literally means to jump/sit on. So an Aufhocker is an evil entity, or some may go as far to call it a shapeshifter, that jumps on unsuspecting victims. So this being tends to strike in the night. There's not really much recorded during the days or sightings of it during the day as much as the nighttime. So it is more than likely an entity of the night. It typically preys upon what in loose terms is called a sinner. A sinner, according to the Aufhocker, may be those who get drunk, or, drunkards, or those who are thieves and steal from others. And those are just some examples of what a sinner is to an Aufhocker. There may be other forms of sinners, but these are the most common forms of sinners that I came across while doing my research. The other things that it may prey on are travelers, so people not used to the local area, or it may prey upon old women. So, when someone comes across one of these Aufhockers, it can take on quite a few forms. One of these forms may be a monster. Another form may be an animal, but it's not just a specific animal. This animal may range from canine to horse to bear, and the color that is recorded of sightings are black. So when one comes across it, they may come across a black dog or a black horse or a black bear. And it can even take on the appearance of what appears to be a goblin. It's not just any form of a goblin, but it's a grotesque appearance and some distorted figure of a goblin. So those are some ways that a person may see this Aufhocker as. And there may be more ways and forms that the Aufhocker may shapeshift into, but when I was doing my research, these were the most reported forms of what the Aufhocker tends to shapeshift into. So how may one run into one of these beings? Well, one may be likely to run into one of these spirits at areas that are more likely to be secluded. And examples of secluded areas may be railroad tracks, bridges, and foresty slash wooded areas. But these areas tend to be areas where not many visitors are. So what the Aufhocker does is it will wait in an area, typically very unbeknownst to the suspected or an unsuspecting victim. And when a target has been identified, it will then leap onto this person's back and latch onto it. And once on this person's back, it adds increasing pressure. And the pressure is supposed to be that symbolizes a burden. You know how like a burden over time it just weighs down on a person? Well, this is what this Aufhocker does, is after they latch onto the person, they increase their pressure on this person as if to be really heavy, and they'll exert all their force on this person. And eventually, this victim will succumb to the immense exhaustion levels. So, as said, this Aufhocker, it latches onto a victim, and then it causes immense exhaustion by creating such unbearable pressure that it causes their victim to be exhausted to the point where they succumb to it. So, if the target happens to be a criminal, one can say that the wrath of this entity is thought to be equivalent of that of karma. So in a way, it is a payback for that criminal's offenses to what they may have committed. So, if the victim does not succumb to the pressure, chances are that they may be finished off by the Aufhocker ripping out their throat. Now, this may be very different according to who you ask and who you talk to. But what I found in my research, the most common way that people succumbed to this entity was by the immense pressure that was added. But a second close would be that of the Aufhocker ripping out that victim's throat. So, although it is not really optional to really get rid of the spirit, there are a few noted ways that one can survive it, or at least attempt to survive it in this nature. So the first idea that I came across was that the victim will need to survive until daylight, because as said earlier, the Aufhocker is an entity or a creature of the night, and it does not like the daylight hours. So, as one would suspect, this is easier said than done, because let's be honest, surviving with increasing back pressure and pain that is excruciating, and just having the life in a way sucked out of you is really difficult to deal with. And as said, more people tend to succumb to this Aufhocker in that kind of way. So, as said, the first idea of surviving an Aufhocker attaching may be to try to just do your best to survive till the daylight hours. And the next one that I saw, or another belief, someone may resort to the religion. And the religion is a common way to free yourself of the creature. Because, say for example, you believe in praying. Then when you pray, this is associated with that of more positive energy and more positive vibes than that of the negative vibes that the Aufhocker brings with it. So by praying, that can scare off or lessen the Aufhocker's manipulation on you. And lastly, another thing that I came across was the idea of the victim to make it to a place that they consider to be safe and in a way sacred to them. So an example of this may be their home. So if you make it all the way through wherever you're traveling and you get all the way to your home, you should be able to survive that attempt. And that is if you are able to endure the pressure and the burden that this entity causes. Another example that one may think of would be a church. Because as said, going back on that religion idea, church is associated with that of light and love, and not of that is associated with what this Aufhocker brings along with it. So, going to a church may scare it off or ward it off. And as said, this is if the victim gets to that point of if they are able to endure what this Aufhocker has done for quite a good bit of time. So I am sure that there may be other ways to get rid of this Aufhocker or an Aufhocker attachment, but from when I was doing my research, these were the most common ways that I've found that can hopefully rid a person and increase their survival chances when they have came across one of these entities. This is all I have for you at this moment, and if you guys enjoyed listening and you want to stay tuned in the future, please like and subscribe to this channel, as I would greatly appreciate it. And in doing so, you'll be notified of future video postings. So if there are any sort of legends or lore that you guys want to be researched, let me know in the comments below. And these can range anywhere, wherever you want to listen more about. If there's more things in Germany that you want to hear about, that you want to be, focusing on, let me know. Or it could be a completely different country. Whatever piques your interest, let me know in the comments down below so I can possibly take a look into that in the near future. And if any of you guys have stories that you want to be featured in a video, hopefully in the near future, then go ahead and send them down in the email below if there is an email attached. If there's not, send a message so I can go through these messages, and hopefully your stories can be viewed on here someday. So, with that said, thank you for taking the time out of your day once again to come listen to what I have provided. And thank you for any input, and this input can be, video suggestions, maybe even proper pronunciation if I have mispronounced anything, or stories sent in by fellow listeners. So I appreciate any form of input that you guys may have to help better this channel. I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video soon. Thank you.